everyone, I'm Christal Marshall. I am a homeschool mom, stay-at-home mom since 2010, and I am literally hopping on as a business owner, as a mom, to encourage you if you are starting your homeschool journey. I'm just gonna give you the deets. I'm gonna spill the tea, okay? So something I had to figure out very early on when I was pregnant with my daughter, maybe daycare is not going to be a viable option. I was living in DC at the time, and it was like $1,800 a month for daycare. With me being a teacher, that was not going to cover the strain and the stress of having a kid in daycare. So very early on, I decided to leave my teaching career with my master's degree in education to say, oh, how hard can it be? And be at home with my daughter. And then I had my son and my other son. So I had 3 under 5. It was really hard, and probably the hardest decision and best decision I ever made. But then as my daughter became preschool age, I said, you know what? I'm not gonna pay for a preschool. Like, why spend all that money and time and effort when I'm already home? I'm already doing all these things. I'm already cooking, I'm already cleaning. We're already going to parks, we're already hiking, we're already going outside. So I'm not gonna pay someone to do the things that I'm already doing as a mom, reading books and cooking and building and drawing and coloring and all this. And so as my daughter progressed, kindergarten age, you know what, I'm gonna look into official homeschooling. Well, I connected with people online on Facebook and found some groups, and I met up and did a play date with a homeschool mom, and she was saying it's actually really easy to homeschool in Virginia. So she gave me a website, heave.org, HEAV.org. So if you're interested in Virginia and how to homeschool, it's a 1-page document that you submit to the superintendent with just some general things that you're gonna learn, do all this stuff. No curriculum is required. GED equivalent is the only thing that they require. And they only require like 1 evaluation / testing at the end of the year under a certain quartile, and then you turn that in. We take the California Achievement Test online, untimed, and give it to them every year, and we've never had a problem with, failing or feeling like we're not doing enough. I'm literally with my kids all day. And I needed to figure out something that I could do from home to keep my brain sharp, keep my creativity juices flowing. And what could I do working from home with little to no money? So I taught myself how to do graphic design. I learned how to do Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop. I started on Etsy, and then I transitioned to, well, I'm already having a kid at home. I want to take pictures of my kid. Let me buy a camera. So I decided to buy a camera on Amazon with like a Black Friday sale. And then that year, I literally just taught myself through YouTube videos, and I shot 3 weddings that year. Fast forward, I've shot over 60 plus weddings. I have a traveling photo booth. I do graphic design and website design and business management for social media for all of these local businesses. I have a venue at my house that we converted our entire backyard and our garage, our 3-car garage, to a rentable venue through Peerspace that photographers can rent and do all this lighting and do all this stuff as you see behind me, all this cool stuff. I'm gonna have more of the approach of, can we just learn as we go through life? So for example, a typical day. I will get up, I'll play a board game with kids, we'll do a morning reading. If I'm not working that day, like if I don't have people coming to the studio and I'm not shooting and I'm not helping my other family business of home renovation, kitchens and bathrooms, which is what my husband runs, and it's just a regular I'm at home day. We're gonna cook and clean together, we're gonna do morning chores, we're gonna do morning workbooks, we're gonna watch educational programs on YouTube. Then we go to the library or a hiking trail or a play park. And as we're going to those places, we're watching, something educational, YouTube channels, National Geographic History Channel, Animal Planet or something in the car. Then we come home, we do another round of like reading or workbook time, or board game time, we do our afternoon chores, and then by like 3 or 4, I'm cooking dinner. They're chilling. They can watch TV, whatever, play outside, whatever they want to do. And that's a typical day for us. I am not going to stress out. I'm not going to give them a super high academic expectation. For me, I tried online programs that were very high stress, but then I felt like they need to finish all of it because I spent all this money, and it was just creating too many problems. So we do like brain quest workbooks we get from Barnes and Noble, workbooks we get from Amazon, and then it's more interest based. So my daughter wants to learn Duolingo and piano. She wanted to learn a coding class on YouTube. She wanted to do like a podcast about like Zelda history, mythology, whatever. My other 2 wanted to do like the history of the film industry through Crash Course on YouTube. They wanted to, learn how to play Pokemon or whatever. And so, and join a Pokemon club in the area and play baseball. So we do it very much based on interest, what they can handle. If it is a day where I am more busy at work or shooting or having people, I just have my kids come with me. They clean the studio, they help me. We're at Home Depot picking out things. We're at Michael's picking out props. We're building sets in the home. And then when my husband's bringing them to work, cleaning up on the job site or helping shop at Home Depot or whatever, or taking pictures of clients' homes for like future estimates. So he's part of that as well. But let's say we randomly want to go camping or go on a trip or go on a hike as a family or go to a museum. Like, we have the flexibility to do that. And for me, that was a higher priority of our budget and our time than buying an expensive curriculum and joining in all of these like overwhelming co-ops and groups and all of these things. And so for me, that's where I decide to spend my mental energy and time. If my kids want to go to a museum or go on a trip, like, that's where we're going to be spending our money. After all of these years of homeschooling and doing this, honestly, it's just an extension of my parenting. It's an extension of 90% of what I do with my kids and what they need from me is actually not academic based. And I don't think a lot of people understand how much emotional coaching, social coaching, and just listening and helping them be kind humans goes into homeschooling. Even when we're playing a board game, it's not really about the board game and winning. Now, to my 13-year-old, it is about winning, and there is no other way but winning because she is hyper competitive. But then she is treating my 10-year-old and 7-year-old, saying mean words, doing cut downs, snatching from them. And I'm having to pause the game. This is every day. I'm having to pause the game, and I'm having to be like, whoa. This is a situation where we need to work as a team. We need to cooperate. I want us to calm down, think about how they would feel, think about how somebody else saying that to us would feel. And I have to constantly be coaching, constantly be role playing and helping them like build empathy and build these social emotional skills. Even today, we're at the aquarium, and my 10-year-old and 13-year-old start pushing each other and shoving each other in the aquarium, and I'm having to sit down and be like, guys, there's little kids, there's strollers, like, we don't need to be doing this, like, stuff like that. And yes, we're at an aquarium to learn about the animals, and that's great. But if they're not getting that emotional social piece of like how we treat human beings with dignity and kindness, then I feel like they've missed the mark. So that's just something that I emphasize a lot in my house, is how we treat others, how we just have human dignity for people, holding the door for others, having respect, how we should talk to people, how we should address people, basic manners, making sure our health and wellness, that's something that I've talked about a lot this week is, okay, let's go take a walk if we're feeling upset. Let's go hike or go outside or get fresh air, or let's take a break. And I know you're upset, so let's do something else. Let's go on a bike ride or something. Let's get some, vitamin D time outside, or, let's change it up. Like that's been a make or break, teaching my kids how to have these healthy habits being formed, healthy habits of how to treat another person, healthy habits of where to put anger in the proper box, that we have anger, how to communicate through anger, help each other and help regulate ourselves, how we can communicate our feelings. That is mostly what I talk about in my homeschool. And I don't think a lot of people understand that that is going to be a piece that you're going to be talking about every day. It doesn't matter what your grades are. It doesn't matter what level you went to, what college you went to. If you can't even work in a real world environment and treat other people with compassion, then my job has failed, okay? So if you are thinking about homeschooling your kid, just know financial piece needs to be answered of who is going to stay home, whose career is going to have to be flexible and going to work virtually, or how are you going to have this value as a family of that tag team parenting or something so that somebody can be that default parent. That's a huge piece you guys need to figure out. Another thing you need to figure out is, does your state allow you to homeschool with the curriculum and with the values that you have? A lot of states do not. A lot of states, you need to look up what your state does. You have to have hours logged. You have to have a certain like curriculum logged. You have to have a certain teacher certification or something. So check your state's laws. What's allowed, what's not allowed. If you have a more flexible schedule and more unschooling mindset like us, living in a state that has very harsh rules and strict guidelines, you might need to weigh that. You might need to weigh, is it worth fighting over what you can do, what resources you can get? And then the third piece is that people don't understand how much emotional social coaching and mental tenacity that you need to have to do this in the long haul. The first couple years are so fun. You just go play and go, do things and measure and cook and build, and that's great. But once you get into the teenage years, you are literally coaching for life, doing life skills, doing chores, building, their skill sets, their emotional skill sets, their verbal skill sets, their communication, helping them become good humans. And I don't think a lot of people understand how much work parenting that takes, and the long twitch muscles that you need to get the momentum, the marathon muscles that you need to develop as a parent for that. Because that has been, I'm blindsided by how much parenting I'm gonna have to do. And so I don't think people understand a lot of what you're gonna be doing is counselor, school counselor, therapist, and just sitting down and learning how to get those resources of talking to teens, how to sit down with your teens, how to form a good relationship and parent them. And that is way harder. That is way harder. Having to parent the next generation in this 2024 with emotions and these deep talks. I mean, we're literally I'm walking my preteen and my teen. We're doing these long walks around the neighborhood. We're talking through, journal and figure out some healthy ways to release stress and talk through that. And I don't think a lot of people have the time or mental energy to do that. And so that's just something to make a mental note about. If you want to homeschool for the long haul, you need to be able to do that in your flexibility and your time and your energy level and your mental capacity. And I don't think a lot of people do. So hopefully in our little talk, you've gotten some good nuggets of wisdom. You've gotten some, good tips, good tricks, things that I do. If you are in Virginia, I would love for you to chat with me more on homeschooling your kids. And if you are thinking about doing it, hopefully you're I really do want to do this. It's a big sacrifice, but hopefully you can get the resources that you can look up online and find your state's qualifications and find other people in your homeschool town through Facebook and through Instagram that can help support you and give you the resources you need. If you want to follow us here's all of our social media, and we'd love to chat with you guys. DM me any questions that you guys have. All right, bye guys.